Good. I like that. We got a couple the way we do it on this is we're going to do two previews for the people that don't subscribe to my newsletter. The people that do, they get a little bit more because they show love and support. So that's the way we do it. Let's start with the fight everyone's looking forward to. Keyshawn Davis versus Denys Berinchyk. Berinchyk is the title holder, the champion.
Hmm.
What are your observations going into this one?
Observations. I think a lot of people don't know who Denys Berinchyk is. I think they just saw him for the first time, probably against Emmanuel Navarrete. And I mean, I want to be as respectful as possible here, but I gotta say, I don't know if Denys Berinchyk is a top 10 lightweight. I thought this was a shoe-in for Navarrete, where Top Rank wanted to have him be a four-weight world champion. They put him against Denys, and they thought it was probably a layup fight. Navarrete in a weight class that he didn't belong, and he blew it. It looked like he came in overweight. It looked like he was sloppy, and Denys was able to outwork him in a split decision, which I didn't think should have been a split decision. But Denys Berinchyk is, he's a decent fighter. But I just think Keyshawn though has a very high ceiling. I don't know how high yet, but he's somebody that is keeps improving from the Nahir Albright fight. He has shown maturity in his last few fights, specifically not the Gustavo Lemos fight for me or the Pedraza fight. I thought the Miguel Madueno fight was very telling, where he was able to do a lot of things, a complete package in that fight against a very solid fighter. But I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on Keyshawn and Denys
Well, we're going to touch
Berinchyk
on
on
it,
this.
but we got to
Yeah,
keep it to a 5 to 10 minute minimum because I don't think people want to listen beyond that. But Medueno, what was interesting to me about Keyshawn in that fight was he was able to figure out Medueno's rhythm and his kind of brawling nature, and he turned that fight into an easier fight that mentally frustrated Medueno that I think a young kid you don't usually see. I think my observation on this fight is typically a generational fighter that Keyshawn Davis looks to be wins these type of fights. I also think people are underestimating that Berinchyk is an Olympian. He's got a lot of really elite guys, like Gvozdyk is his translator for the media rounds. He's around a lot of really good guys, and he's not just going to show up to lose. And I would not be shocked if the first 4 or 5 rounds, this is a fight. I'm expecting Keyshawn to take over in the later rounds based on maybe his pedigree and kind of just younger man. It feels like the young guy always wins this fight, goes to the top. But I'm kind of seeing a fight. I see a fight early on in this.
he's durable. That's the one thing. He's undefeated. I don't think he has a top name on his resume, a lightweight. His best one's probably Anthony Yiggett, which he dropped 4 rounds to. This is an Anthony Yiggett that this was after he fought Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis absolutely battered Anthony Yiggett, and then he went on to be competitive against Denys Berinchyk. His second best fight was probably Ivan Mendy, who lost every round to Sam Noakes, a very good fighter from the UK. So I don't know. I mean, the thing with Denys Berinchyk, I'll give him this: footwork, great footwork, excellent footwork. He switch hits, and he doesn't really fight in a rhythm. He's going to be hard to figure out, like you said, with Keyshawn. But if Keyshawn is the real deal, I think, in 2 or 3 rounds, he should figure him out. He's got pretty much every advantage going into this fight, Keyshawn Davis.
I mean, if Keyshawn's a superstar, this seems like the fight where he knocks out a champion and makes a statement as a main event guy. I just think that my buddy sparred Alexander Povetkin one time, and he said Povetkin on tape didn't look good, but you get in there and you're fighting Ray Leonard. And Berinchyk kind of scares me that way in the sense that I've never been wowed by his performances or on tape, but there's something about him that you can't just beat him with a will. You can't, you said it, the footwork, but he's tricky. And it's like he seems slow, but he's able to time guys. And I think he's going to cause a little bit of issues for Keyshawn early because the timing and the cadence that he's able to fight at is just uncomfortable and awkward. It's kind of like if he were a musician, he plays to the ones and threes rather than the twos and fours.
Okay, I see that. And then at the same time, I'm looking at it in this scope where he's 36, a career lightweight, and has really fought nobody. So he didn't wow me against Navarrete. I got to be completely honest. And Keyshawn's 25 and has fought better opposition and has better performances. And I think maybe now this is really a break. This is going to be a breakout performance. This is how I'm looking at it. This is going to be a breakout performance. But you can never write off an undefeated guy because they don't know how to lose. So maybe this could be Denny's breakout performance. Yeah, no. This is how I'm looking at it.
Olympian too. That's what scares me is he comes from that Olympic wave of
Mm,
Lomachenko and Usyk, and there's a level of a mentality with him that I just think a lot of fighters don't have. He was around those real top Hall of Fame guys. Even Gvozdyk to me is a Hall of Fame level guy. I just don't think he has that.
very good fighter.
He's
Yeah.
very good. These are his homies. These are his guys. So I think there's a level of mentality with him. It's a little different. I think Keyshawn Davis is with the best team in boxing right now, results oriented. So everything,
Also an Olympian.
also an
Keish-
Olympian. Crazy to say that, right? Because it feels like the generations are so different from 2012 to 2020, but
They
um,
are. Yeah.
it feels like this is Keyshawn's moment, if we're being objective.
Which I am. That's the only way I can be. Uh, just to, break it down and see everything, the youth, the athleticism, the power, even the experience. I think he's got top-notch experience now, Keyshawn. He's dealt with many different styles. But I think it's fantastic matchmaking. I love this fight.
Yeah, so now we're gonna jump over to one that happened that I like, right? But a lot of people won't like. It's Oscar Duarte, Miguel Maduno. Regis Prograis is out of the fight. He had an injury or whatever happened. I don't really fully know, but it doesn't matter. That fight's off. I think this